Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really cool story of mistaken identity, one that stretches all the way from the Cold War to the absolute cutting edge of green technology. It's a tale of two totally different innovations somehow tied together by one single powerful name.
So let's get right into it. On the one hand, you've got this massive Soviet space telescope. On the other, a radical new engine that could change everything about how we get around. I mean, they seem worlds apart, right? One looked out at the stars, the other wants to revolutionize travel right here on Earth. But they both share that one intriguing name, Astron. So, what's the deal?
All right, first, let's hop in our time machine and go back to the 1980s. The Cold War is still very much a thing, the space race is on, and the Soviet Union launches this absolute titan of astrophysics. Fired into orbit in 1983, the Astron Space Observatory was a true workhorse. It ended up operating for 8 years. That's double what it was designed for. And in that time, it became a major player. It gave us a whole new understanding of Halley's Comet and happened to be in the perfect spot to watch a star explode, the famous supernova 1987A.
And just look at the scale of this thing. We're talking a launch mass over 7,000 pounds. Its 80-centimeter ultraviolet telescope was, at the time, the biggest of its kind anywhere in the world. And, this wasn't just a Soviet project either. The main instrument was actually a joint effort with France.
Now, its real secret weapon was its orbit. It was way, way out there, reaching 185,000 kilometers from Earth. This meant it was flying far beyond our planet's shadow and all the radiation belts that mess up observations. It had this unbelievably clear, uninterrupted view of the universe, letting it capture those incredible cosmic events. It really was a masterpiece of Soviet space engineering.
So, you hear that story, right? A legendary space telescope named Astron. Naturally, you'd think any new technology with that name has got to be related to space exploration, yeah? Maybe a follow-up mission or something?
Exactly. When you hear about some game-changing Astron engine in the news today, you're probably picturing a new kind of rocket, right? A successor to this amazing spacefaring legacy.
Well, not even close. The Astron everyone's talking about today has absolutely nothing to do with looking at stars. But it might just change everything about how we travel down here on Earth.
Okay, so let's meet the other Astron. This one comes from Astron Aerospace, an American company, and they have a completely radical new take on the internal combustion engine. They call it the H2 Starfire. Now, to really get what the H2 Starfire is all about, you first have to know a little about the Wankel rotary engine, the one Mazda made famous. It was brilliant, super small, incredibly smooth, and it could rev to the moon. But it was always held back by these nagging problems with its seals, which meant it wasn't very reliable and had pretty bad emissions. And this is where Astron Aerospace comes in and basically says, we fixed it. They claim their H2 Starfire engine solves all those classic rotary issues. It's built on a whole new idea they call the Rayleigh cycle. And get this, it runs on clean hydrogen. The goal is to be incredibly powerful and green. The performance numbers they're claiming for just one of these H2 Starfire units are, well, they're kind of mind-blowing. Let's just break it down. First off, 400 horsepower. To put that into perspective, that's right there with a brand new Nissan Z sports car. And that's from a single tiny unit. Okay, now this is the part that gets me. It weighs just 120 pounds. That is insanely light. It's less than the engine on a lot of big motorcycles, but it's making way, way more power. The power-to-weight ratio is just off the charts. And then there's this, a red line of 25,000 RPM. I mean, let that sink in for a second. That is an absolutely astronomical number for an engine. It's so far beyond what even high-performance piston engines could dream of doing without just blowing themselves apart.
So how on earth does it do all this? Well, the design is super clever. It's modular, so you can literally stack units together for more power. The rotors are fixed right on the crankshaft, which cuts down wasted energy by a whopping 80%. And it uses this unique design to actively force the rotors to spin, giving it incredible control even at a super stable low idle. People are talking about using it for everything from cars and drones to power generators.
So there we have it. Two completely different pieces of tech from different times, different countries, with totally different missions, all sharing that one name. And when you put them side by side like this, it becomes crystal clear, doesn't it? The only real link is the name. On one side, you have a Cold War marvel of space exploration, a team-up between the Soviets and the French. On the other, you have a modern American company trying to totally reinvent the engine for a green future. So the connection is purely linguistic. The name Astron comes from the ancient Greek word for, you guessed it, star. And in a way that's pretty poetic, isn't it? One Astron spent its entire life looking at the stars, while the other is reaching for them with a whole new kind of power.
You know, the tale of these two Astrons is just a perfect example of how innovation never, ever stops. But the story of the new Astron leaves us with a really big question about our future.
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? As we all start shifting towards electric vehicles, is there still a place for a revolutionary new combustion engine, even one that runs on clean hydrogen? The H2 Starfire is this powerful reminder that the book might not be closed on combustion just yet. The race to power our future might still have a few surprising stars of its own.